Hello, everybody, and welcome back to The Heart-Led Leader. On this episode today, I am so honoured and humbled to have a very special guest. This is someone who I respect deeply, who I have witnessed leading in so many different ways across so many different platforms. I've been privileged to sit in a room with her and by her side and share some chips through a leadership program one day, and I'm just really inspired by the way she goes about life, so generously giving to others, and through so much value in what she shares in her podcasts, in just daily life, and the way that she's a keynote speaker who travels all around the world. She's got an incredible podcast called Healthy Life Hacks, and another one out now, Present Day Wise Woman. She is the present day wise woman, and I'm so happy to introduce the wonderful Jen Jefferies to the Heart-Led Leader. Thank you for being here with me today, Jen.
Thank you, Melissa. Thank you. Honored to be here. It's great just to hang out. I love that I just know you. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, it is cool. We got to meet up.
Just get to the chat.
Yeah, I ran into Jen recently. She was doing a keynote presentation for a women's business networking breakfast. And yeah, it's always so great to hear you speak, Jen. You're hilarious. You're so grounded and real and authentic. And I really love that about you, and the way that you just really are solid in who you are. And yes, I'm grateful for you being here. And I want to dive in today. And that's why I asked you to, if you'd have a chat with me here, because this show is all about inspiring people to lead in their own lives, whether they're, they don't have to be in a leadership role. Everyone's a leader of their own life. And I want to give value to inspire people to lead from that authentic and grounded place, honoring that wisdom within them, whether they call that intuition, heart wisdom, gut wisdom. It's embracing that, the wisdom within. And I see you doing that so well. So I just want to start by offering you the opportunity to share right now what's on your heart, what's happening in your life at the moment that you want to share and let people know that you're doing, and really put energy into.
Love to, thank you. And I've just got to also say, I'm just a big dag. I really am. I'm just a big dag. But I also, I'm very passionate about what I do. And so I'll give myself permission over the last decades to really live outside my comfort zone, to do what I'm passionate about. So, and my passion is been screaming at me for over a decade, and that's to really step into bringing the crone back to life. So the crone, the wise woman from the past, killed off in the witch hunts and all those kind of things. And since then, since we burned her in those days or locked her up for being mad for the last, a few centuries since, we've been silencing her in different ways and not having women to be able to use their voices. So I'm deeply, so deeply committed just to help women find their voices. I'm 64 nowadays, and that's a big thing. So when I was coming up to 50, it was stirring in me, and I'd tried lots of different ways, business-wise, to create different, podcasts and different things to be able to get this conversation out there. And this year it landed. I wrote a novel about it, my first novel. I launched this podcast, and I've got a lot of big stuff coming out between now and Christmas. So yeah, I want to help women live such an epic third chapter of their lives in that last kind of 30 years and find their voices so they can do that, because it was silenced in such a big way. It's been silenced in such a big way.
How have you experienced, where does this passion come from when you say that voices have been silenced in a big way? I agree with you, and we can talk about why, but what's been your experience, and why is this such a passion for you? How has this come about in your own life? What's the roots of it?
It actually came out initially when I was about 28. So about 26, I burned out working in the pharmacy industry, went back to school, studied to be a naturopath, and all of a sudden started learning about, archetypes and the history of women and all those kind of things, and how they were naturally the village healers of the past. And that wisdom used to get handed down to the women of each generation. It didn't happen. And as a kid growing up, I didn't have those kind of role models in my life at all. So anyway, I start learning about this stuff. And so I'm 28, mum's turning 50. And I sent my mum a card. Yay, happy birthday, congratulations, you're the crone. Well, that went down really well. She was so fucking insulted, totally horrified. She thought I was saying she's an old hag. I'm going, no, 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 no. This is like the ultimate compliment for me. So I realized in that moment something's really wrong. There's such a disconnect between women and what it means to age. So I sat with that, from 28, and it stayed with me the whole time. And I read books and the history and really got into the suffragettes back, at the start of the last century, the women who really took a stand to help get us the vote. And I've really played that women's game, trying to understand it and where it got lost and everything since.
Mm.
So as I started to reach 50, it's been stirring deep in me, and I've really gone deep in so many ways. So my normal work, working as a naturopath and adrenal burnout and having great success and speaker and everything like that, it has evolved because we're always our own avatar in business. And so now all my work is with women in their 50s and 60s.
Mm.
And it really stirred because I was living, seeing it. It wasn't just their physical health. They'd lost their voices. And, yeah, life's good. I'm in a relationship that's boring as shit and works fine. And my health's, well, yeah. And it's like, this is meant to be the coolest time of our lives. We're not producing estrogen anymore. It's like we are free. We don't have to do the nurture everyone else. We can look after ourselves and live and be the wisdom of all those collected years of experience. And it's not happening. It's not happening in 5 main countries of the world. So the West, as we see it, is countries like North America, so Canada and USA, Australia, New Zealand, and the UK.
How do you
That's where
when
it's
you
such a big problem.
sorry, when you say that it's not happening, how do you see it not happening? Because obviously there's been lots of movements for women to speak and changes in
Yeah.
organizations and leadership in all different workplaces and voting. And so how do you see it not working well just yet, in your opinion and experience?
Yeah. Well, there's not a disconnect in the community between women and that. So two things. Okay, the first one is that, if you think of, the nonnas of Italy and the yayas of Greece, all those kind of things. They all kept that. They kept that. I've just been up in China working. The matriarch of the family is the most respected person around
Mm.
and listened to. So in all of those other cultures, except those kind of 5 main regions, it's just still there. Now, women have gone into those roles to a certain extent, still nowhere near equality, nowhere near equality. However, we've been taught that we need to lead in that masculine way,
Yeah.
not in what is the true strength, which is the feminine way. And
Yes.
I'm not talking girl and guy kind of thing. It's totally different vibes when it comes to leadership and heartfelt leadership versus, I remember the first personal development course I did when I was in the pharmacy industry. It was called Die Before Cry, for real. And it was all about image and self-projection, how you could sit at the board table with all the blokes and just be like them so that you didn't cry. Is that insane? And the company I worked for, I was an asshole. I would never have worked with me. I was so nasty. I was leading in the same way that, the guy who owned the company was. And I was horrible to everyone. It was just that women have been taught that we lead like men. No, we're not leading from the heart. And it shows in the world in a big way. And so the start of this year, when the US started really scaling back women's rights in so many ways in that, I had a real tough time because I thought, I don't want to live in the world or in a world where women are suppressed, and we're basically going back more than 100 years in women's rights.
How do you see that happening? Can you clarify that? Like, what is specifically happening to suppress
Yeah, well, let
women's
me
rights?
see. Even let's think of the American military. They have taken, like the top fighter pilots who've fought in wars and everything like that are women, and they've just been wiped from all the websites, the military sites. No celebration, all gone. They vanished overnight. That administration got rid of all of them. Their recognition gone overnight. the one who's the top one of the top pilots in the Blue Angels, the most elite American. Yeah, she's never existed as a Blue Angel. And yet she flew for them for years. That's one tiny thing. Like, think about scaling back women's rights with gay abortion. Gay abortion.
Wow,
and
now
that's
we're
two
getting wild.
stories. Wow. Yeah, two stories.
Cramming it all in today, Jen.
Yeah. Women's rights around their own body.
Yeah.
That's giant.
Yeah.
That's giant. The gay thing, it's in the going to court. I think it's this month that they're going to try and scale back gay rights, marriage rights. That's been proposed. It's been put to court. Like, it's endless. I could not travel to the United States at the moment and think I could just cross the border. Not even remotely close to feeling safe to do that. How insane is that I couldn't travel to that kind of country and feel safe as a woman, let alone a gay woman?
Yeah.
There's something really wrong. And I started to lose hope the start of this year. I really did. And I just thought, it was about March or April, and I thought, I can't do this. I've been fighting. I got kicked out of the army for being gay at 20 years old. I've been fighting for gay rights and women's rights for, the last 40 odd years of my life.
Yeah.
I thought, I can't do this. And I honestly lost hope. And, talking to my wife, Alice, about it, I realized I have to keep fighting. But it got me. And part of the fight is that I've started this podcast and written more books on it, and I'm going for it because I'll be buggered if they're going to take away from us stuff that we've fought so damn hard for.
Salute you, Jen. I love that you spoke earlier before you mentioned that we are our own avatars.
We are, yeah.
Yeah, that's really powerful and so true. So who better than to be speaking to this than you at the moment with everything you've experienced and going through and that you're aware of. I want to go back to the masculine feminine balance, because that actually came up in my intuiting what were part of the message today that the audience needs.
Cool.
Masculine feminine balance was something that came up, and I love that you spoke to it, and that you're speaking to real issues that I even see in my leadership webinars and workshops, and when I'm working with senior leaders across different sectors and industries. The women in particular, 50% of them feel like they've got imposter syndrome. More than 25% of them feel like they've got to be hard, or be like a man, essentially. And 25% of them also feel like they're often missing the mark when they're communicating or feeling or being misunderstood. And so that's where my passion is, about helping people come back to being grounded in their authenticity. And for me, part of that is having this balance of masculine and feminine energies, and knowing, you can lead in this way. So given your long experience of, you said you're fighting since you were 20, and then in your corporate role, you're absolutely being like the man.
Yep.
And let's be real, we're talking about toxic masculinity when we say that too, because
it's not all guys. It's not all guys. No way.
Heart-led men are, balanced in the way that women are trying to achieve. So
and my closest friends are men.
Yeah. We're all in this together in that way.
Yeah,
and their
totally.
voice is often suppressed too, but in a different way to women. So I just want to acknowledge that for the guys. So in your experience of being that hard and masculine for so long, like, what can you share about that experience? What's been the turning point or the learning in go more into finding that balance in your own way of being and leading between the masculine and feminine, and what that actually looks like for you? What does it look like? How does it feel? How does it come about? How does it change how you are in what you do?
Yeah. I really understood that. It was about 2017. I went and did a 5-day retreat, women's leadership retreat with Marianne Williamson in Los Angeles.
Nice.
And it was all about leading ourselves, leading in the workplace, leading in our community, leading the globe. And I really understood the difference between masculine and feminine energy in those days. So, because I'm all about the bottom line. The bottom line is masculine energy is do, push, achieve. Versus feminine is grounded presence. So imagine we just met. This is my best demo of it. We just met, first date. And I'm like, Melissa, I think you're fantastic. Marry me, marry me, marry me. You're naturally going to lean back. You're not going to lean in.
Yeah.
Versus if I just sit on the other side of the table and go, hey, Melissa, how you doing? Blah, 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 blah. Just grounded, certain. And that's the difference. So feminine energy is grounded, certain, where masculine, and it's being.
Would you say
Where,
it's also creating, nurturing, like those other?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
how you sum it up, is grounded.
yeah. Well, yeah, being, I call it.
Being.
I think it's being, but we've got to be grounded.
Being.
And
Great.
an easy visual is, think about the phoenix in the West.
Yes.
The phoenix, it's like fire, disaster, burn, rise. That's the Western phoenix. Where feng huang in Chinese medicine or Chinese culture is feminine. It's not masculine. It's feminine. And it's like, I've got this, let's go. It is wildly different energy. And the leadership, it shows within the culture how it's different. And so in the West, it's like, it really is. It's just push, get out of my way. I'm doing this anyway. And again, we're seeing that in so much masculine leadership around the world at the moment. Politicians, it's really quite crazy. Versus the strength of the woman who's still gonna, you can still lead and be fucking epic and care for the people and for the environment and everything. And the difference is when we are pushing all the time, Chinese medicine, we say when you push, you actually push away. So pushing the way it's being done at the moment, you're getting people are leaning back and going, what the fuck? Versus where it's like grounded, centered being, let's do this. You'll collect and you'll move people forward. You move the country forward in that by helping everyone rise. Not just, I'm here, fucking shut up, I'm going to do it this way. It's a totally different thing. And the same in companies. So when I first came into the corporate world in my 20s, it was just all, I remember one day, because, I ran a chain of pharmacies and did all the buying for them and stuff. And I remember, one of the 15-year-old kids said to me, I said, relay these shelves, change the stock around. And she went, why? I said, fucking get out. Don't ask me why.
Ooh.
It was the 1980s. It's what we did.
Yeah, wow.
I remember the cosmetics department of one of the shops never made budget. So on a Friday afternoon, I just went, fucking get out. Sacked them all. Didn't think twice. Didn't care. It was horrible. Horrible. That was the way it was. And I know it was the 80s and blah, blah, blah. But guess what? So many people, that's not healthy leadership. So I really mindfully nowadays, I think with what I'm doing, are people leaning in or are they leaning out?
That's your gauge.
Yeah. Yeah. And if they're leaning out, I mean, my head, not my heart. When we speak from our heart, we speak our truth. And I think we can say that, have the tougher, harder conversations when we stay in our heart because we actually get heard. As soon as we're in our head and just going for it, there's not the connection. And people will more than likely lean out.
Yeah. And what do you, like in my experience, that's not to say, because we can also be pretty disconnecting of the mind too. It can go the other way. And, I've seen, what's that saying? Like, follow your heart, but take your brain with you. We've got to it's integrating your wisdom, isn't it? It's integrating this beautiful, amazing mind that we have to create the world around us and to create the way we want to be. That's what it's meant to be used for.
Yeah, but it's got to be connected to your heart.
Yeah, to apply the wisdom of our heart.
Yeah.
Through our mind.
Yeah.
So when you're talking about, for the people who are listening who, like, let's say these women who feel like they don't have a voice and that will make them either shrink back, or do the opposite and push, come out hard and be like the man. So what are real-time, in your experience and opinion, what are real-time examples of how to shift that? How do you encourage people to be in themselves, to be in that state of just being and flowing and in their heart?
Yeah. So it's more than, I think it's more than just be flowing and being in your heart. It's actually being in your body.
Yeah.
So when we're stuck in our head, even when we're talking to people, we're thinking what the other person wants to hear the whole time that they're talking. We're not truly listening. So we're not grounded, we're not listening. We're already coming back with a response. So we're not taking in everything it is. So I'm big on, again, the being part, being grounded, so that I can actively listen and respond versus just get triggered and reacting like I sure as hell did in my younger years. So I think whatever someone needs to do to stay in their body and stay in their heart, your head's still there, but the two are connected. So I'm a big fan of wriggling my toes. I just put my hand on my heart to remind me, to go there. And you can gauge it when you're talking to a person if there's a connection or not. I also know that no matter what I do, 50% of people will never get what I do. They'll never love me. I know that. And 50% will always be raving fans no matter what I do. So I'm also not attached to holding back for 50, things back for the 50% who aren't going to get it. I can only be there and help the 50% who will get it.
Yep.
Does
Which
that make
helps
sense?
support the people-pleasing tendencies and those who just want to be liked and stifle, for fear.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
that. That's a pretty big number, like 50%. That's very generous in supporting yourself with, just how many may not want to hear you.
Yeah. Yeah. I like to think it's actually the 80-20 rule, but I think more realistically, it's doesn't matter what you do. 50% is just they're not going to get us.
So what was it for you that made you really realize? You can obviously look back retrospectively now and see that you were an asshole at those times. But what was the turning point for you where you really realized and got that? Has it been a progression? Was there a moment? Was there?
Yeah, it was a moment. It was a moment. And I was in the Gold Coast head office, and we had shops throughout Queensland. And the managing director was in one of the North Queensland shops. And he rang me and said, sack this woman. He was in the shop with that woman. He had a personality conflict with that woman. And he rang me and said, sack her. I said, sack her, you're fucking right there. Like, sack her yourself. And he said, no, you do that. That's your job. And I went, no, I'm out. So my values got challenged. And I went, no. There'd been lots of stuff, but when I went, you're ultimately just a gutless prick. I went, no. You want to do the things that give you all the glory and, hey, business is successful and get me to do dirty work? Not a chance, mate. So my values got compromised. And I just went, no. So I walked away.
When you say your values were compromised, what were your specific values then at that time? Like in that
my biggest value still today is integrity.
Yep.
Just, it's, for me, that's a not negotiable.
Yep.
He was not being integrous. Yeah. And I was an arsehole at that time, and I could have sacked her. It wasn't the point. It was like it was not leadership. It was not cool. So I'm grateful that I saw through that. I still remember that day.
And that awakened you into, realizing your integrity. And what unfolded then was like would you describe yourself now as you are being balanced in masculine, feminine, and typically, we have to turn up. Obviously, it's not for equilibrium all the time either that we're aiming for.
It's not.
We want to turn up, and we need to fight, and we need to be logical. We need to make decisions.
Yeah, no. I work at being more intuitive and heart-centered and creative and all those things.
Gotcha.
Because my natural default is still that I'm a very logical brain. I say I've got a boy's brain and a girl's heart. So I'm very, very practical. I love Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman is kind of like the idealistic realist. So I'm that grounded, realistic, practical thing, but at the same time, I'm that creative realist, creative idealist.
So I just want to highlight this point for a moment and just pause to let that sink in, because You're actually sharing a strategy and something that it sounds like you are explicit and very specific about. So you're aware of your, and I'm going to call it temperament, or your natural kind of tendencies, because obviously we all have different temperaments.
Sure.
And you know that you are more that way of getting things done and logical and practical. And so you're specifically adding and strategically making time to be intuitive, heart-centered, and creative.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. And I know that the more that we work with our intuition and creative in whatever way, the more it grows. That trusting that and going with it, it grows. So yeah, I'm wildly more balanced nowadays than I ever have been. However, I also really actively work at it.
Yes.
Yeah, and part of it, I learned from Marianne Williamson. I was read the personal development books. I'd only entertained personal development books. I would not. I'm here to learn. And then she went, "Well, stop it. It's where you're trapped." And I went, "Oh, okay." So she said, "Read novels."
Mm-hmm.
Fucking novels. No, I'm not reading novels. She said, "Novels are creative. They let your imagination run." So nowadays I read a novel, then I read a whatever book, nonfiction, then a novel, and I really mindfully do it that way. And to write my first novel this year, which I'm hoping will be published, in the next year, is the plan, was huge for me to let my brain go there to even do that. So I've written a self-help book, kind of like as a journey book story, but it was big to do it. But it's important. I think I really get that, and it changes my brain to let myself read novels. So if you are that personal development kind of person, great, and get more balanced. Bring some novels in.
Yeah.
One-on-one off is an easy one. I've been doing that for what 7 or 8 years now, since I met Marianne, and it's just a way of being now. Yeah.
Yes. But you had to make the decision and do it. And I can just hear voices of so many people who, oh, I'm not creative. Oh, I'm too busy. And
Yeah.
I've been there at times, where your head is just so full and work is so full and there's so much already. There seems to be no space. And there actually isn't any space for creativity or any inspiration to come through. So you have to carve out the time and have that discipline initially to make it happen.
And it's worth it. And then the other thing I did actively was I realized that, that listening, I'm a visual kinesthetic person.
Mm-hmm.
Listening has not been my highest usefulness in life. And so I started listening to audiobooks, and it was so hilarious at the start. So hilarious, because I couldn't keep, and I'm ADHD on fire as well. So I could not listen to a book. And of course, I want to listen to a book on double time. Why would I listen to it? Just, it was just hilarious.
That's stressing me out just thinking about it now.
Except here I am 8 years later, and I rarely read a book. I absolutely listen to audiobooks. So if I'm 10 minutes to the beach for a surf, I've got 10 minutes of filling my brain with something I want to fill it with. So I make time. So it became a strategy to improve my listening skills, to improve my creativity, all those things. And I did it with audiobooks. And yes, I was shit at it first. And that's the thing. So many people give up because they go, "No, I'm just shit at this." Instead of going, well, let yourself be bad at it long enough to get good at it.
We'll say that again.
People don't let themselves be bad at something long enough to get good at it. Yeah. So I was shit for a few years listening to books, and I'd have to go back. What they say? What they say? What they say? Go back, go back, go back. Now I'm great at it. And I listen to them on double time, and I'm good. Yeah.
I love it. While we're on this kind of role, is there anything else? And I guess this is speaking specifically to these kind of people who, are really busy, really full, don't feel creative, don't have that capacity yet. What else would you do in a holistic picture? The tools to bring you back into balance.
I'm a big aromatherapy fan, as you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I created there's two oils. One, my Sanity Saver oil, which I designed to keep me grounded, my ADHD go fast, ping all over the place kind of brain. I designed that a couple of decades ago, and I've been using it since. And so I love that our feet are waterproof, not oil proof, and I can put a drop of oil on the soles of my feet, and it helps, it's absorbed, and it does its thing, but it's essential oils, heavy essential oils like vetiver and cedarwood and patchouli, so all the earthy essential oils
Mm.
that help to ground. So I
Yeah.
use that as a support tool. And then I've also got my new oil, which is Fuck the Stress, and that's designed to, one of the main aromas in it is fennel, and fennel essential oil we use to literally help us take that step and put your shoulders back and just go, I got this.
Mm.
So not in a, I've got this aggressive way, in a real assertive, take your place in the world kind of way. So I
Mm.
use aromatherapy. I've got a little piece of wood on my desk. I don't use fancy vaporizers and things. Go
Mm.
to the park and get a couple of gum nuts or something. I've got a piece of wood on my desk, just a little block of wood, and put drops of essential oil on it.
Mm.
And so I just have those oils around me every day. That definitely helps me to stay grounded and in that vibe. And what you can't see on camera is I've got Wonder Woman's cape sitting right here. I do. She's been with me for, I don't know, 25 years. As a kid growing up, when I was about 12, Wonder Woman, the original TV show with Linda Carter, came on. And I was like, that was my role model as a kid,
Mm.
because I didn't have any, I had no strong women in my family.
Mm.
And Wonder Woman on TV, I went, I can grow up, I can do good and help people and serve and all that kind of stuff. She was how I shaped myself as a kid.
Mm.
And I have a cape. So when I have my wall kicking moments, which everyone has, and I still have, literally, hands on my hips, shoulders back and down,
Mm.
and done. I change, physiology. It's been shown in this Harvard study that just changing our posture for 2 minutes can lower cortisol and increase
Mm.
our confidence. It's like 2 minutes to put my hands on my hips and just go, got this,
Mm.
helps me get this.
Powerful, hey? Posture, breathing.
Posture, yeah, where you're sitting there thinking, fuck, this is too hard. It's going to keep being too hard.
Yes.
Yeah.
To make the changes. So some things that you do to bring back balance. You got oils, you listen to audiobooks, you carve out time for creativity. Is there anything
Yep.
else about your lifestyle
I,
that you what
I
sort
make sleep a priority. I'm in bed
of yeah.
definitely 5 or 6 nights a week, well and truly before 10 p.m. Our adrenal glands need between 7 and 9 hours sleep a night. I make sleep a priority. There is no way you're going to think sane and be able to respond positively and deal with life if you haven't had enough sleep.
Mm,
Simple.
so important.
Even 5 nights a week, that's 80% of the time. 5 nights a week, get to bed before 10 p.m. Done. That one lifestyle change will bring a difference to
Mm,
your physical, emotional, and mental health. And
amazing.
then that's ultimately your leadership.
It's so true. For me, that's the having the foundation of well-being. When I say the foundation of well-being, and you're looking at that holistic picture of how you're building your life, where you're leading from. If those practices, I get to the beach, I start the beach some morning,
Yeah,
dogs for a walk and in the ocean and getting sunlight and being out in nature, even 5 minutes.
all those things. Yeah, there's
So
so
powerful.
many.
But you've got to carve it out, right? You have to be disciplined to actually do it and not get in that hustle mindset
Yeah.
of there's no time, can't do it, too busy, nothing
Well,
changes.
I talk about in my Fuck the Stress book, don't have two diaries. Don't have a work diary and a play diary.
Mm,
They're both in one diary, and everything is set, that not negotiables. My surfing time, and my date night with my wife, my Pilates class, all of those things. My lunch break, not negotiable.
mm,
I block out those times, and they're on repeat because they're all automatic calendars nowadays. Back different to the days when we used to write it out every day,
yeah,
and
yeah.
so it's just not negotiable. I won't book over those times.
I love it. Jen, I want to go back to the voice, women's voices, the owning our voice, being able to speak up, not hiding.
Yep.
Yeah. So you're on a mission to do that. You're embodying that. You embody that through the way that you speak and approach and just be you really powerfully and call others out to do and be the same. What do you think needs to change, or what are the key kind of factors at the moment that you see and experience really need to shift, whether that's in an individual or in the culture? What needs to happen for that to change and for women to feel more empowered to speak up? Like what kind
They need to feel safe.
of
They need to feel safe.
safety? Yeah. How do
So, if I think again, the bottom line, we've got to use our voices for ourselves first, then we can use our voices for our community and kind of the world. And so initially, I know that courage comes before confidence.
Yeah.
So every little baby step a woman, when she starts to use her voice, and if you've got to use essential oils or whatever, that's why I designed my Fuck the Stress blend. It's not about, hey, relax, Jen. It's like, fuck no, don't mess with me. I've got this. That's why I designed it. So depending whatever kind of tools you want to use to just have the courage and take a step, not the whole step, but start to use your voice in whichever arena. Now, how do we feel safe? Start by telling your girlfriends, it's time. I want to use my voice more. I want to stand up. I've heard this crazy chick Jen speak. I want that life. And so it's the help keep me accountable. If you see me not using my voice, give me just give me a little love tap to say, you're right, you got this. Encourage and support each other. Sisterhood is everything. And it's not anti-man shit. It's like, oh my God, the world can just do operate differently. The guys need to do their bits and we need to do our bits. But if we can start by keeping each other safe to use our voices, even just in the little scale, well, then we start feeling safer, to do the bigger steps. Interesting. I did an interview recently on my podcast with a nonna who's inspired me. And she talked about how, one of the most important things in Italian culture is to everyone come to dinner to come to dinner of a day. And that's when the stories are told. It's when we get to use our voices versus people being disconnected and stuff. And I think it's the same. So find your girlfriends, come together, share stories, lift each other up. And just keep building on it. Don't, again, let yourself be messy at it so that you get better at it. We haven't been using our voices. We can use them. We've just got to start. So keep each other safe.
I love that. Safety is so important. And that goes for anyone, doesn't it? No matter the situation.
Oh my God,
if you don't feel safe to speak and have a contribution.
you won't.
Yeah.
But what we think about, we bring about. So
yes.
our energy helps to determine that room. So again, if we're in our head kind of just want to go, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, that's not going to create a space where we're going to get heard safely. Whereas if we're just like, take a breath, get grounded, wriggle your toes, love to have a chat with you for a minute, it's a totally different thing.
Absolutely.
Versus just going off on the rant.
Yep.
So we get to create that safety as well.
And for me, that comes through, that's actually what I teach, is starting with self-awareness and presence to what is going on in your internal state right now. How am I showing up? Because in any given moment, you take one breath, you turn your attention inward, you feel a trigger, you feel challenged, you feel unsafe, feel scared, you turn inward, check how your body is, like I said, wiggle your toes, feel what your heart rate's doing, what's your face saying, what are you feeling, what are you thinking, have that initial snapshot of how you're showing up, what's going to be driving it. Come back to intentionality. What's the intention of this outcome? What do I want this to look like? How do I want this to be? And ground into that. Let that guide you from your awareness, from your intention. And then if you can stand in that, that's integrity, right? And whenever you can stand in integrity and your own fullness of just, I'm showing up as I am, this is how I am, and this is my intention for being here. And if you can be courageous enough to stand in that and speak from that place, people will connect with you so much more than
they'll hear you.
They'll hear you. Absolutely. Than it being fake or angry I think anger's okay sometimes when it's managed properly and used. That's
absolutely. There's totally a place for it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a different topic. But safety. Thank you. That's powerful. So how else would you say encourage people, the women, particularly those who are alone? There's a lot of women feeling alone in their roles, in their lives, disconnected. I love that you've offered to reach out to build the sisterhood, to find those connections.
Well, if while we keep saying we're alone, we're alone. So again, it takes courage to reach out. If I go to a networking event, I go anywhere. I look for the person standing on their own. I'll go over and say, I don't know anyone. Can I stand with you? And they go, yeah, I don't know anyone. I say, great. And I just chat to them. So be the person who goes first. It's scary. But again, the more we do it, the more we can do it. So everyone's waiting for someone else to go first. Be that person. So if you're thinking, yeah, I haven't got any friends, great. Go to, my comfort zone. I am happily the recluse and don't want to play with anyone else. I am the shy kid. That's me. However, I can't do what I want to do in the world that way. I was learning ukulele a few years ago and learning off YouTubes and all good and safe and all that stuff. And a friend said, come, there's a group that meets up down the beach on a Friday morning. Come and play with us. And I was so terrified. I went the first time. I was so bad. I knew 3 chords. I felt so intimidated. I didn't go back for over 12 months.
Oh, you only need 3 chords, Jen. You only need 2.
I know. I know. I can't tell you how bad I felt. And anyway, one day I just went, Jen, you're going to learn faster if you go and play for other people. So I did put my big girl pants on and just went, okay, I can go. And when I got there, I found somewhere standing by themselves. And I went, can I stand with you? And they went, yeah. I said, great. And I just started. And now I fucking love it.
Jen, I love everything that you have been sharing. And I want to wrap up with, as we look back on your intention right now and consider really what you're here to do, your purpose at the moment as present day wise woman, what you really want to see, the changes you want to see in the world. Would you like to just close off with, sharing what it is that you just really want to see come to life? Like, how will, when the culture changes, when women have voice, when they're empowered, how is that actually going to look in the world? And what will that mean? What will you see? What will we hear? What will we feel? What will be different about how we're living?
My ultimate dream, imagine a world with no wars. Imagine a world where people are just feeling safe and loved. And look, people can go, that's so fucking woo-woo, Jen, but it's not. We've got to dream it. I want the world to be safe for everyone. That's all I want. And so we've got more chance of having that world. And my logical brain knows that so much money gets made with wars and all those things, and that it's a bloody big machine to pull down. But you know what? We've got to start. And while we keep thinking, I'm just one person, Jane Goodall died today. And, she talked about how, think of life like a jigsaw. I'm one piece of a jigsaw. I'm one piece of bringing this, helping to move the culture to a better place. And there's someone else on the other side of the world, and someone else and someone else. And we all bring that jigsaw together, and everything is possible. Everything is possible. I have to believe that, because I know how many things that you'd have to say that was never going to happen have happened.
Yeah.
And so I hold hope, not pie in the sky hope. I take action. I surround myself with people to support me so that I can do the work I want to do. And I'm there to support other people who are, are going to do it, their piece of the puzzle. It doesn't matter how big the puzzle is, but we've got to, if we all do our little pieces, we can create something so cool. Yeah.
110%
So be a piece
Wonder
of the
Woman.
jigsaw.
10% support that.
Yeah.
You are a Wonder Woman. You are the present day
Thank you.
wise woman. You are the crone. You are the nonna. Well, in the sense of culture.
I'm not a grandmother yet. I am absolutely, I'm in the right age to be, I've got a son. I don't have any kids yet.
I just think you're amazing, Jen, and I'm so grateful for the time that you've shared. You've shared so much value, actual strategies. You've shared your heart, and I'm totally on board with your intention, your mission. I'm here with you in it, and I just want to thank you for leading the way and being you.
Thanks, Melissa. I really appreciate your time. So thank you.
Welcome.
Let's go change the world. I had to say that.
Tomorrow. No.